Oh my gosh, I am so excited for this very special Facebook Live. We have the amazing cast of Hallmark Channel's The Way Home. We are getting ready for season 2, so I'm not going to fuss around. I'm just going to get everybody on and start diving in. Please welcome Chyler Leigh, who plays Kat, Sadie Laflamme-Snow, who plays Alice, and Evan Williams, who plays Elliot. Welcome, guys. It's so good to see you all together again.
So good to see you, Brianne, as always.
Oh, well, thank you. So, Sadie, what was the feeling that first day when you all got back to set for season 2?
We came back.
You and I, Sadie, our first day we had, sorry, I jumped in. It just made me think
No, please jump in.
The most dialogue we could possibly have ever had was that day.
Yeah, and it was like there was so much catching up to do in the way of like just making sure that the audience remembered where we were and establishing all these new ideas that are like planting the seeds for the rest of the season. And Chyler and I were like in hysterics in between scenes, like, I don't remember how to do this.
Yeah, but, it was like the first day at school. It was hilarious.
It was really first day at school, but we had a really good time. It was so nice to see everybody again. This year when we sat down for the table read, it was just like all the pieces were falling into place, and it was so, it was just so great to see. Even and our new characters got to, get introduced to everybody, and so you could just kind of see the world coming back together and also expanding, and it was just so exciting.
New characters, you say. Evan, how was meeting some new people and bringing some new people on board?
Well, it's always like a little knee-knocky moment when you're bringing people, and especially since the family of this show is so tight. We all adore each other so much. So when you're bringing fresh blood in, you're sort of like, all right, we'll take it easy. No new friends. But actually, they surpassed the bar and then some. They're not only are brilliant actors and the characters really add to the show and audiences are going to love them. Also, they're amazing people. They fit right in. I think you guys agree. Like they were just such additions to the show, really valuable additions, and can't wait for the audiences to dive into that whole new part of the show.
Awesome. Well, I feel like since this is in advance of the premiere, everybody maybe needs a little bit of a refresher course. I know I did. So I think we have to all just dive into the proverbial pond and kind of revisit where we left off. Okay. So Sadie, I'm going to put you up first. What do fans need to remember about what's going on with Alice in the finale?
Okay, so in the finale, Alice just found out that she was the one who mailed the letter, and she was the reason that Kat and Alice came back to Port Haven, and this whole time travel family rebuilding saga started in the first place. And then we she's found herself way closer with her mom and her grandmother. Kat and Alice can really confide in each other about time travel, and they've also just gone through this the experience of finding out that they caused Colton's car accident, and so they're dealing with that huge loss, while also we're seeing kind of the family finally like really being a family. And then maybe I'll pass it off to Chyler to say, where to actually really leave off the final words uttered by Catherine Landry from season.
Yes. Well, the final words were, Jacob, I'll come back for you.
Oh, yes.
When we discover that, Kat is in fact the mysterious White Witch. So yes, at that point, but right before that happens, it's the discovery where Kat starts putting all these pieces together. That seems like they wouldn't have anything to do one with the other, but then all of a sudden she starts putting all these pieces together and has this like just giant revelation saying to Dell, Mom, I think I know where Jacob is. And so when we end this season, we pick right back up in the beginning of season 2 in basically the same exact moment. And so what I love about that is that we're kind of giving the audience that like, okay, at least we're talking about it. Like we're not going to just breeze by on that. So there's that nice little satisfaction there for them. So yeah, we're right at that. That's a great recap though with you, Sadie, to say at the end, because I was kind of like, what did happen at the end? Because season 2 has been so wild and there's so much that happens. So it's like, yeah, I'm so excited. So hopefully that catches up a little bit, from Kat's perspective.
Yeah. So Evan, Elliot is now getting to kind of live in the present without knowing his future. What does that mean for Elliot?
Well, it was a big choice at the end of season 1 for Elliot to decide that he was going to forge his own path. And that choice was maybe not popular with Kat or with some of our audience members, but I think it was important. And so season 2, we start to see Elliot learning what it actually means to be doing the journey of investigating self-love and trying to figure out who he actually is, because he's been in this prophecy for so long, and maybe it's not as easy as he thought it would be. And I don't think the love for Kat is ever going away. I think they're kind of star-crossed. So it's a question of what is Elliot going to do based on the choice that he's made? He sort of made his bed and now he's got to lie in it. And hopefully we'll see him rise to the occasion.
What does that all mean for Kat and Elliot, though? Really, where did we leave off with them?
So yeah, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, I insist.
I insist. I said what I had to say.
Okay, back to the rabbit. So Kat and Elliot, yeah, it's that just tragic moment between them when he does have that chutzpah, if you will, to make that decision for himself. And as Chyler, I was really proud of Elliot doing that. As Kat, heartbreaking. That scene in particular, Evan and I talk about it all the time, was so tapped into such real feelings, because it's also sad for us. We love our characters. We love the dynamic between Kat and Elliot as Chyler and Evan. So it's sad. It really does actually hit you. And so that, coupled with, tapping into emotions that are very, very deep and real and raw like that, I think he and I sat off of set for probably a good solid 10 minutes and we cried. It was literally like grieving something that was so profound, character-wise, but also personally. So that was actually, in retrospect, it was quite special. So in the beginning, we're kind of doing of season 2, we're doing the recap right immediately where we pick up in that scene, like I mentioned, but then it cuts to 7 months later. And so in those 7 months, clearly a lot has happened. Elliot has gone and traveled the world and like really doing self-love, as you were saying, and care. And Kat was trying to recover in a lot of ways and just sort of just say, okay, you know what, this is time for, Alice and Kat to really, grow. And obviously with Del as well. But for her to kind of just say, okay, you know what, this is horrible and awful, but this is an opportunity for me to grow as well and come to grips with what happened. Mm-hmm. And so when Elliot does come back and they see each other the first time, it's like awkward because they also revert right back to who they were. It's like when you see a friend that you haven't seen in such a long time, you pick right back up. And it's kind of like those feelings where they are kind of fighting a little bit, those feelings, which always makes for good TV.
Yeah. A lot of reason why friends don't like to get romantic sometimes is because there's a chance that's going to ruin the friendship. And so at the beginning of season 2 here, everything is hanging in the balance between Elliot and Kat.
What's the state of play with Alice and Elliot?
Well, Alice is pretty mad about Elliot just picking up and leaving at the end of season 1. She's not privy to the kind of romantic side of Kat and Elliot's relationship. She's feeling really protective of her mom. She feels like her mom's best friend just like up and left her when she just found out that everything about Colton's death had to do with her and Alice getting involved. And Alice also feels abandoned because she depends on her relationship with Elliot. She really leans on him for everything and all the time travel questions and concerns when things go wrong. She really needs him in both the present and the past. And so I don't think she can think of Elliot in the same way when she realizes that he was just, in her eyes, she thinks that he was just fine to pick up and leave us behind, and just, I think Alice sees it as kind of a selfish thing to do. But, you know, there's definitely some maturing that has to happen for her throughout the season, because she needs Elliot, and she knows her mom needs Elliot too. So she has to kind of come to terms with her, you know, how she affected Elliot's life as a teenager and what that meant for him for the rest of his life. So I think there's some fun, like, sparring scenes between the two of them. And then there's also some, you know, more heartfelt moments where they have to be more honest with each other. And Elliot has to kind of tell Alice how hard it was for him that she ever got involved in his life in that way when he was 16. So it's been really, really exciting. I think we've had a lot of fun, Evan and I, and also David and I, and trying to piece those two things together. So yeah.
I think
Awesome.
we see a lot of development in both this period and back in the 1999 period that will give audiences a lot of background and a lot of ideas about the origins of these characters and what makes them tick.
Fascinating. So I just want to kind of go into one more detail from the finale, and that is the nasty old ball and Finn, because that is the catalyst that kind of makes Kat start putting some dots together. Do you want to talk a little bit about the significance of that and what it means?
The significance of the nasty old ball. Yes. So I'm just kidding. It was nasty, though. It was really gross. And the dog that played Finn is actually, his name is Finn. Yeah. So we a big question actually that we get was, you know, okay, so does that mean Finn is from, you know, the 1800s? Like, and you're like, no, he's not an ancient puppy. But he is, like you said, he's the catalyst of Jacob following him, because it's not our dog at that point. It's like he hears this puppy because he's in 1999, and it just seems like super random. And kids with puppies, it's kind of like, oh, let me go follow you, puppy. And so he does. So when he goes, Finn, ooh, that would be really spoilery. So I'm not going to say this part that I just wanted to say. But we do come to understand that Jacob, it wasn't intentional. It was just for him to go, okay, I know that this is probably pretty naughty because I'm not supposed to go to the pond or around the water, but it's a puppy. So, yeah. And then, you know, that's why none of us know where he is. So, yeah.
Does that mean we might meet some more generations of Landrys?
Who can say?
My lips are sealed.
Well, okay, we'll move on to the next little tease. So you've already kind of hit on it that Elliot is doing some traveling, but does that mean? I mean, there's a scene in the trailer where he is really mad at Kat. So does that mean that he has not moved away? This new chapter doesn't mean him gone for good?
Yeah, no, Elliot is not gone for good, because I think he is so devoted to the Landry women, and also this is where he's from, and I don't think he ever really wanted to ditch them. He's trying to make the decision that is going to allow him to show up for himself, and then hopefully show up for them as well. And I think that in season 1, so much of Elliot's problem with Kat was that she was trying to change the past, and he kept saying what happens will always happen, and could never understand why she wasn't content to be sharing the present with him and with the family and with reality. And so when he leaves, I think he's really expecting that Kat is going to be moving on from the time travel and allowing life just to be as it is. And we'll see if Kat's able to do that.
Awesome. Music is such a key element of this show. It's definitely a big through line in season 1. Are we going to see some more musical performances? And I will just say, I rewatched the finale before this, and Sadie, I cried again during your performance. Are you going to sing?
Yes, we absolutely, you know, that was something that I think we all loved about working on the season, but also it was met with a really warm response from the audience too. That I think loved the throwback choices and all this stuff. So we do get to do some more musical performances in this season. I think that there's kind of we'll see old favorites, and then there's also some kind of there's also, you know, we have that beautiful song that Colton wrote for Dell, and I think that we see how much it means to Dell at the end of season 1. No, yeah, yes. I'm getting confused. Yeah, we see just how meaningful that is, and why Alice decides to sing that song for her, and just that kind of is all a part of the healing of their family. Is that the song is something that that brings them a lot of comfort in all different timelines. So we'll see that.
Yes. Awesome. Now, Evan, I know you've put out a bunch of music, but you have not performed for us yet. Is we going to get a little tune from you in season 2?
Well, I would love to. I'd love to have some more music, and with my music project, Bright World, I was able to put Time After Time in.
I was going to say it. You know, I was going to say it. You know, I was going to do it.
And that was so sweet of the production to add it, and the way they put it in right at that moment was, I thought, really beautiful, and just added another layer. And it's cool when you're doing a show where they're interested in incorporating all of your different creative expressions. I mean, having Sadie singing, having Chyler singing, and so I would love to have more Bright World music represented in the show.
Yay! Well, and it's wild because it is like a huge musically talented cast. Like, there's so many singers in the group, and everybody's singing all the time anyway. Like, we're just kind of like going around and someone's humming something or singing something or like harmonizing with one another, and just like a lot of Celine Dion is happening.
Oh, and people that you would never expect would sing in this show will sing. That's something I will say.
Ooh,
is the beginning. Yeah. So I kind of was like thinking inside the box of what we did last season, but we are just there are things to come that I don't think you could guess.
We were busted out of that box.
Well, I'll chime in and say that there's a really great musical moment in episode 1 that fans are going to love. I wish they could join in on. And maybe they will from their living rooms. Who knows?
Maybe they will.
All right. Before we go, without giving too much away, you each have the ultimate challenge of one word or facial expression to describe season 2. And I'm going to make Evan go first.
This would be mine.
You're frozen. Oh.
No, that's his choice. No. He's so good. He's so good.
That's acting, everyone.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mine would be an expletive.
Okay. We won't.
Mine would literally have censored across my mouth. That's what it would be.
Mine would be. No, it's not that. Okay, it's gonna be this.
Aww, I love it. Okay, well, speaking of this, before we go, I have to ask about Sadie's new puppy, because I've seen some pictures on social media and so cute. So please tell us everything, and everyone can go follow her and check out those adorable pictures.
Okay, he's actually my parents' dog. So I've kind of pseudo-adopted him. His name is Mister, and he's my baby. And yeah, you will be able to see him on there as much as I get to see him. So.
And what kind of dog is he again?
He's a mini golden Bernedoodle.
And he's got like, it's so cute because you know how big they're gonna get when their paws are bigger like than their heads. And so Sadie had sent us, Sadie had sent to us, because we have like a group text chain, and so sent like pictures of the dog in the snow and just like flopping like.
I was sending them videos of him being like, "Merry Christmas." They're like probably not asking for it at all, and I'm like filling our group chat with pictures of. Anyway,
love it.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you all so much. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. Be sure to tune in this Sunday, January 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central on the Hallmark channel for the season 2 premiere of The Way Home. Tweet and post along while you watch using the hashtag The Way Home. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
See you soon.